Second strategy there is engagement. So whereas customer acquisition is talking about obtaining new users, an engagement strategy is more so around how do we further engage existing users, and that could be measured in ARPU, for example. So distribution here, it's different to just going straight to social and doing a blast and making sure that the video is in every channel that you own. It's actually not so much about that focus. Instead, we found that clients actually have better results if they're creating a really solid kind of 3 to 5 step EDM cadence, and the target place for that cadence is going to be a video page. So that'll ideally be on your app or a website. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And secondary, you would then do the social and PR amplification. And that could be a product release that is, a real major one that deserves that type of attention. Other times the EDM cadence can suffice. And the style of this video tends to be more of that explainer or app video style, where you'd be showing some product context through UI or abstracted UI. Example here for DigitalOcean that we produced for the product app platform, was more of that kind of long form 2-minute video, but has product abstraction here written throughout. There's a really interesting kind of takeaway there that, even after 8 months, still proving out some really great ROI. Obviously a very kind of story-driven approach, but we also led with a plethora of cut downs that DigitalOcean used in more of a full funnel approach as well. And this was, again, distributed mainly through EDM. It has since lived on YouTube as well, so certainly got its fair share of play. Square's another example. You saw that logo in the beginning as soon as we started. And you see here, even with the UI itself, quite abstracted. Even this, it's for a snippet and a dev tool, but we really bring it down to its bare minimum. You find that the pace promotional video is actually moving at, it doesn't always serve the users best to use exact UI. You can see here, just because there's actually quite a lot to take in. When you've got the pace that a promotional video moves at, you do want to make it easy enough to understand. And obviously I've muted the voiceover in this instance. So some interesting kind of style there, and that was around 60 seconds if I'm not mistaken. You can see there in Square's case, they actually used a 3-step EDM, and this was the target page. So they take their dev audience, for example, which was segmented to this particular landing page, where you can see on the right, and this was a still taken, but this video would play onto the side, and then you could watch the full video here. So that's what I mean by a good video landing page or a video target page. Very simple. The main aim of the game is to watch the video for the users, to understand how they can actually extend their use of your product or platform. Learnings from engagement. Now this has been really interesting, especially in our work with Square. You really should be localizing if you've got a global presence. And obviously that's one of the real benefits of tech and SaaS, is that can be done over time, and that movement into international markets. Now, whenever we do a project with Square, really, we're doing both translated voiceover and subtitles for, Japanese audiences, UK audiences, Irish accent, Spanish, Australian. So, relative to, or compared rather, with actually filming a whole new video for that product launch again in these different localized areas, it's far cheaper in today's world to actually very quickly localize across, just those voiceovers and subtitles, and actually have a very convincing asset that you can use for different international audiences. So, it's can sometimes be, 0.1% of the budget. It can be in the low hundreds of dollars to actually get a very good localized result. So something to bear in mind if you do have international audiences. Video is a great way to speak to those differently and in a way which is very relatable. With engagement as well, Really no need to talk about the problem too much here. If the user is already an existing user, they're really past that stage. So, and plus, if you think of your website, more of a mid-funnel zone in the funnel, so it is something where you should really be going to product benefits as quick as possible. Again, just make sure you name that product in the intro. If it needs to be explicitly said, this is Square Online Checkout, so that the user knows they're in the right place, do that. Don't assume that they'll actually have the right context or know as much as you do when it comes to this new product. In terms of the split overall for a video to do with engagement, we would typically make it 90% around the benefits and 10% around a call to action. So you kind of lead with those benefits, and then that's followed by really clear next CTA that always relates to somewhat of a deeper interactional step than just learning more. So it should be start for free, it should be book a demo, it should be, try pro for 14 days. It needs to be, you need to be thinking about it in a step kind of CTA, which goes beyond something generic.